Welcome to the Better Rider Podcast. I'm Jimmy Lewis.
I'm Matt Mattoon.
And this is the episode 2. And I am here with Matt Mattoon, who is one of our coaches.
Longtime coach,
and also the lead on our new online off-road school. Mm-hmm. So, as you know, you're starting to see a little bit more of us popping up on the digital fronts, and that's going to increase a lot more in the future. And we will get into that a little bit later on. But one of the things, we want you to get to know some of our coaches, some of their background and stuff. So we have Matt on. And Matt Mattoon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, originally I was born in Anchorage, Alaska, and then I moved down to Pahrump when I was about 10. Started riding dirt bikes when I was 12. Started helping. And then I came to the riding school when I was 14, and then started helping with the riding school until all through high school, and then I graduated, moved to Alaska, went to college for a year, then moved to Marino, and then finished college, and then I'm back here in Pahrump.
Yeah.
So that's a brief overview. Those are the bullet points.
I think reluctantly in Pahrump.
Reluctantly is an understatement. Oh my God.
I love it here. I like dirt bikes enough. So, anyways, so how did you, like you said, you came to our school. That's how I met you. And, so tell us a little bit about that. Yeah.
So, what happened was my mom was just getting back into dirt bikes, and I have had one for a couple of years, but I was never really super into it.
What did you have back in the Husky, right?
So before the Husky, I was on a TTR 230 for a few years.
Right.
And then my mom, right when my mom decided she wanted to get back into dirt bikes, because what inspired her was she wanted to go ride the Continental Divide Trail.
Okay. And
so that's when she got a CRF 250L. I think it was the first year they made them.
Right.
And then that's when I got that Husqvarna TE 310 back when I think it was still BMW making them. They were the redheads.
It was an Italian built. Built Husky. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they were BMWs at that time or they were kind of Kajivas, but it's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been a while. They're definitely not the same Husqvarnas that roll out from Austria.
So as a 14-year-old kid, did you want to come to the school?
Yes and no, because one, I thought it would be cool because I thought I was a good rider going into the school. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a nice little ego boost, you know? And then the thing I wasn't excited about was, what if I'm not as good as I think I am?
Oh, it wasn't just 2 days of school? I go to school 5 days a week.
Right. No, it wasn't that because it was dirt bikes. But it was, what was really cool about it though, was the fact that it was my mom and then my not uncle was doing it with us. Dennis. Yeah. Long time, which we should probably
he might have the record for the most attendances in the school.
Yeah.
He comes back literally a couple times a year.
Yeah. He loves it that much. And, so it was just cool to do it with them because, if it wasn't for my uncle, I wouldn't have gotten more into dirt bikes than I did. Right. Because I just kind of rode around sitting down and then he told me to stand up. Yeah. And then from there it was,
that's all you have to do is just stand up.
Well, and it was like a lot more fun. Yeah. It was so much more fun. And then they couldn't keep me off the dirt bike. And,
did you sit in the back of the seat when you were sitting down too?
Yeah. I was, over the back and gas it. Yeah. So, my uncle told me that, and then my mom wanted to get back into it. So we got those bikes, and then that's how we ended up at the riding school. We found out about it from the BMW dealership in Vegas, actually, because my mom was looking at the, I think the 650 GS. But,
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. And we're literally almost next door neighbors.
Yeah. I never knew.
He's like a mile away, and in Pahrump, that's like 10 houses over.
Yeah.
And so, and at that point, the school was just really starting to grab some traction at that point because we'd been out in Prim at State Line for a while, and then due to some land use issues with all the solar facilities going in and different things, an airport that they planned, our training grounds, which was the dry lake bed out there, was no longer available to us, and so the BLM had to mitigate move our school to someplace else or allow us to go someplace else, and we needed a dry lake bed. All the areas around Vegas were having bad air quality issues. And so they said, hey,
Yeah.
we can put you out in Pahrump. And the only reason I really knew where Pahrump was is in my racing. I have been a corporation. I operated as a corporation when I raced.
Yeah.
And I was a Nevada corporation, and the address was in Pahrump because that was the closest place kind of to California when you kind of do all these things. And
right.
I always had a PO box in Pahrump, and is
that the same PO box today?
No, it was a different one.
Okay.
But I always had my little tiny house in Pahrump.
Right.
But so they said, yeah, you can come out in Pahrump, and we have it. There's a dry lake bed out there that you can use, and it's wide open out here, and so that's how I ended up in Pahrump. And
didn't you almost end up in Sandy Valley? Didn't you do a couple classes there too?
Yeah, we used to take the class over to Sandy Valley, but well, unbeknownst to me, I mean, I kind of knew it, but like that dry lake bed is quote in California, and this one is kind of in the Las Vegas subregion, even though it's in California. Right. It's very interesting the land use that I've learned to understand since then. But anyhow, I got moved out here, and at the time the property values were really inexpensive, and I thought, well, if I'm going to do a school, I'm going to do it right. So I really went around and I actually tried to buy a large piece of property that we could do the whole school on.
Right.
We didn't need to go out into public land too much. We always wanted to because there's access, which is really good.
Right.
But I found the place we're at now where we have the school, and it's a unique place that had a house on it and this very strange circular.
Yeah. The circle
garage,
which you had, the kids before me helped you finish that, didn't they?
Right.
Yeah.
The kids that were helping me. Yeah.
There's always been kids
for the concrete. Yeah. I always find these local kids that are good, respectable kids that want to, they kind of like dirt bikes, and I see that fire in them. And so, I got moved out here, and I think the school was really at that, like I said, that time just starting to take off. And so the kids, which would have been, what their names were, I don't, Matt. No, you're Matt.
Yeah, was there a Mark?
No, it wasn't a Mark. It was.
Okay, I met one of them, but that was a few years ago.
Yeah,
I think I'm still Facebook friends with him, but
yeah, I sometimes I remember the names. But anyways, there's a couple of kids. One of them went into ROTC, and the other one went into the Army to work on helicopters.
Right.
And boy, I can't. I'm so bad with names. I can never remember this. I'm bad with students' names too. People, hey, I came and took your class, and I'm like. Your name eludes me, and
that's happened to me multiple times for like the return students, and
I feel bad.
Yeah,
it happens.
The first time that Jim had come back, I mixed him up with George.
Oh, good.
Like that. Yeah,
our other two coaches.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so we, it got going. I probably needed help. Washing bikes, starting bikes up, or how did I cleaning air filters?
No, you didn't even have me do that. So I don't think I did none of the bike maintenance. The generation after me.
Wait, because you're horrible at it.
I'm horrible at it. Right, I don't have the patience for it. But no, even before that, you know what? Maybe if you had me do the bike maintenance, I would have.
Your Husaberg would still be running.
It would still be. It technically still runs. It's like I could actually go ride it right now. I just don't know if I'd get to ride it back.
How long it'll run for.
Yeah.
So everybody has strong suits, I think I did try to have you work on things, and I realized right away that wasn't your thing, at least right now.
I'm not the most patient with it, and then I'm also not the most detailed with it, which is kind of surprising considering,
what you work
my
on
major,
now.
And what I'm working on now. But
so what did you do?
What did I do to
pick up bikes?
No, I was picked up bikes and sweep rider. That was it. Oh, and then you showed me how to wash bikes.
Okay, yeah. So you got the full pull.
Well, I just didn't have to do maintenance.
That's a lot of people don't do, because I watch them use some tools and I'm like, whoa, bro, stand back.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little rough here. It's a lefty loosey, righty tighty or something like this. So anyway, so you started coming and doing that, and I was always amazed that you actually looked like you practiced. You when you came to the school, you would practice the drills at the school while you're running and picking up bikes and stuff like that. But between schools, I noticed, because I'll classify you maybe in the beginning, when you're going to show the class up.
Yeah.
Kid. little bit on the klutz level side. There was definitely that kind of just, gas it and go and not really think. But I started seeing a huge progression. I'm like, oh, wait, you can teach. I remember like challenging you like I do with a lot of the coaches.
I remember this challenge too.
And students where I'm like, hey, Matt, why don't you demonstrate this? Right.
So I don't remember that. I don't remember doing a demonstration in my first class.
But I put you in front of the class.
You did. Yes.
Yeah, so it was essentially, I instead of me going out, I talk about it and then we go and demonstrate. I said, oh, Matt, why don't you do this? And I don't think you were ready for it.
I remember, so the challenge that I remember you gave me was, because we were at the gravel pit and I was just jumping off of some of the things and you're like, rear tire. And I hit the rear tire and they were like, front tire.
Yeah, one of our more advanced drills.
But my first ever bike demo drill demo was you wanted me to do the brake slides. Mm-hmm. And I just went back and forth like horizontally to the students rather than back and forth like vertically. So where they can actually see it. They couldn't see it, yeah. They couldn't see it half the time. And then I was so nervous that I wasn't doing the drill right. So
yeah, no. I
remember that.
And that's very typical. And yeah. And you know this now from working with me for a long time. I'm really particular about how things are taught and explained. Mm-hmm. And we have a saying in the school where we say practice perfect.
Right.
We want you to practice perfect. Well, you better demonstrate it perfect.
Right.
So that you can so that the students have something to look forward to. And this is what makes it so difficult. One of the reasons that they say, Jimmy, I get a lot of people that want to come and do private training. And the reason we don't do a lot of this is because a lot of times I can make things, or a lot of my coaches can make things look so ridiculously easy that you don't understand the gap between where you're at and what you're doing. And you watch us and you go, okay, I'm doing that.
Right.
Far from the truth. and we're going to explore this a little bit when we talk about our online school, what we're going to be able to do with some of this thing. So you were now teaching with us.
Yep.
And you wanted to race. I remember you really wanted to race.
I really wanted to. Yeah.
And I didn't think you were totally ready for racing. I mean, anybody can go race, but I wanted you to, have success and be comfortable and safe with it. And so I was a little resistant to say, yeah, just go race. But you kids, you just go do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And, but there's also some other things because I got you all of a sudden you weren't riding that much. Because
my grades. Yeah. 100%. There was one point where if it wasn't for Jimmy, I wasn't riding.
Yeah. Clippy.
Yeah.
Mom cut. And I thought that was great. Yeah. I mean, I was, because, you're screwing up. I call it Matt's dumb phase. and so he was able to come and work with me at the school, but that was the only time you were allowed to ride motorcycles.
100%.
So I was stoked because I got a kid that was super motivated to come and go riding and work at the school. He was there 100%, came early, stayed late because it was all about dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And he didn't really tell me what was going on, but I got a call from his mom and she's like, Matt's kind of screwing up. I don't know if he told you. And I'm like, I don't think he told me. And it's like, yeah, he's kind of screwing up in school. Is there anything you can do to just to talk to him or something like that? And I'm like, I can try. I mean, I've gone to schools and talked to schools before.
Right.
And just, kind of, because a guy with a dirt bike, a guy that has like a really cool dirt bike and stuff, especially the young men and the young boys in the school and stuff like that, that's a cool thing.
Right.
And they want to know like how you got there. And one thing I probably gave you the speech. It's like, I always tell kids, it's like, look, you're sentenced to school.
Yeah.
This is it's a sentence. You have 18 years to serve this, more or less, for X amount of hours a day and X amount of days per week, whatever it is these days, however you guys do schools anymore. But you're sentenced to school. You go in there and instead of looking at like, I got to wait, watching the clock tick.
Right.
And this is what I did. And this is why I know this. You need to go in there and you need to steal something. And not like physically go in and like, steal the teacher's purse.
Right.
Go in there and steal some of the information that's available for the taking.
Right.
Go in there and don't look at it like you're giving it or somebody's handing it to you that you didn't earn it. Go in there and steal it, earn it.
Right.
Learn every day, learn something every day. And this is like, I think I gave you the speech.
Multiple times.
Quit jacking around. You have to go there, learn something. You're like, oh, I hate math. I remember, I hate math. I'm going to fail. I can't even do it. And I'm like, okay, well, I know you don't like math. Here, I'm going to give you a workaround. Just go tell your instructor you need to get C's so you can ride your dirt bike. I mean, literally, just go tell them that and tell them you're going to try harder. You're really going to try harder. You need some help catching back up or whatever you need. I just gave you all these things because I wanted you to ride dirt bikes because I like riding dirt bikes and I need people to go riding dirt bikes with me. And plus I had cool dirt bikes to ride and we were all testing motorcycles at the time. So, but we kind of had this discussion and I think I somehow got you out of your punishment so we could go ride motocross at Sandy Valley.
Yep.
And next thing you know, the grades started coming up a little bit, which was kind of amazing.
It was it was a combination of there's just the repetition of hearing that speech at least 3 times. I can think of 3 separate times. There's probably more. I remember that
Jimmy, shut up. That's what you're probably thinking. Like the first time it's okay, it's kind of just the second time it's like, get off my back, dude. I'm just trying to get out of high school.
Yeah. Well, because it was, I was getting it from my mom, rightfully so.
Yeah.
And then I was coming to ride a dirt bike, and then I was getting it from the person let me ride the dirt bikes.
Right.
But hearing it enough times, and then hearing about you, because you were talking about your own struggles with math to me.
Yeah.
And then also it was Martin.
Right.
Also talking to him. And then,
but this is almost after did you talk to Martin before you went to college?
Martin
in Alaska.
So right before,
and this is, by the way, this is Martin Hackworth who runs Motorcycle Jazz and is also I'll call him the father of the Tour of Idaho. So he's another good friend.
Super good guy.
Yeah. Super good guy. A former rock climber. And he did a lot of rock climbing, had a lot of experience in the music industry, doing recording and stuff like that. And he came to the school and just took a real another guy that thought he was going to come here and learn nothing. Yeah. And as a physicist, asked me if I was a physicist. And I'm like, dude, I'm a dum-dum. I race motorcycles.
Washed up
but he's like, how did he couldn't figure out? I mean, I think he could, but he's like, you explain things as if you were like a physicist. And I'm like, well, I understand what the hell's going on, but I can't write a formula for it.
Right.
Leave it at that. So anyway, so go back to Martin.
Oh yeah. So he was like, I met Martin right when I was starting to turn it around, and then Martin made me. A conversation with Martin started hearing his story with math and how he became a physicist kind of started really making me believe that I could actually start tackling math and start tackling school. And at some point,
you went away is like business. Started business, or
it was initially it was journalism. Cause I was like, oh, technically I'm kind of a journalist, right?
Yeah,
I've written 4 articles
for dirt bike.
Yeah. But then I switched to undeclared. Then it was business. Right. And it was business for a long time, and I was really good at it, but it wasn't what I really wanted. And then that's how I eventually became the physics major. I started turning the math around.
I don't know what Martin said to you or what he told you, but I never saw that coming. I mean, I remember one time you said, well, no, I'm in physics. And I'm like, what?
You and a lot of people.
The guy who is flunking, I mean, like upside down in like remedial algebra.
I failed in college. I actually failed one of my remedial math classes. I had to retake it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the excellent school system you were not taking advantage of here in town.
Right.
So.
Right.
But the cool thing was you're off at college. Every once in a while you'd come back from Alaska. Hey, Jimmy, you having a school? And sometimes you would, sometimes you wouldn't. But when you were in R, you would come down on it whenever you could get the time. Really. Yeah. And you kept teaching. And it's funny to watch, someone go from, just being a snot-nosed kid up to, becoming, one of our better coaches, which was super cool. I'm always proud to see that evolution. I don't have any kids of my own, but you guys, the growth that I see in you guys is pretty cool. And the fact that you get to enjoy dirt bikes and kind of, we're trying to make dirt bikes your living.
Yeah.
He watches this guy here who's never worked a day in his life. Just all I do is ride dirt bikes.
It's a good life.
And it's like, it's not bad. It's kind of fun. And then maybe Pahrump will grow on you when you realize that, 7 months out of the year, we have really good riding here when it's not just balls
Well,
hot.
like I still have my family, they're still here.
Right.
And so I'll have a bike here probably.
Right.
So I don't think Pahrump will ever truly be out of my life. I just don't want to live.
You don't appreciate the garden spot of dirt bike mecca we have here. So anyways, I just like giving Matt a hard time because he wants out. There's not enough chicks here, right?
That is actually a factor. Yeah, there's the chick situation in Pahrump is So I like them to have all their teeth.
Oh, yeah, I know. At 24, you shouldn't be giving up a couple of those things.
Right.
They're valuable, yeah. Okay, enough jokes. No, I love the town. I'm glad that I've run into. There's a lot of really good people out here, and Matt, like I said, Matt and his family are one of them. So what we are doing now, and this is something a little bit, we'd like to say a little bit blame it on COVID when we kind of got shut down. And just the growth of where we want to go, because we're so limited in how much person to person, one-on-one stuff that we can do. There's only so much of my time, and there's only so much, availability to do this kind of things. And I really, in this school, and this, I want to be super engaged in the teaching. I don't want to just be, sending them in, writing them off.
Right. You don't want to be a robot.
Nope. And after school, I'm completely exhausted. And, I've given
right.
I've kind of given the school, and I literally want to take 2 weeks off of teaching again.
Right.
So it's hard to do that kind of thing every day. So we're, with your background in physics, with the stuff that you learned, some of the stuff that we teach all of a sudden started clicking in a different way. And I said, we need to do some stuff online. You're definitely understanding this a lot better, but there's something we have for the future that we're not really going to talk about that's actually pretty interesting, like where this all could go.
Oh, it can be,
it can be really good.
I'm excited.
So in the short term, in the next year, 2 years, you're going to see the evolution of Jimmy Lewis off-road training go online, where we're going to take our curriculum and it's going to be available, and you can probably start talking about it a little bit more. We're going to have kind of multiple levels of subscriptions to where you can start. So there'll be a lower level subscription. We haven't got it totally worked out yet, but
we're still working.
As you watch this, we're sort of in beta testing with some of the ways that the features are going to work and some of the ways that the interaction is going to go. We just want to make sure it's all good.
Right.
But at a lower level, you'll be able to literally buy a class and kind of explain kind of how that's gonna work.
Yeah. So the current model we have is you can actually buy the class without being subscribed. It's just you don't have access to coaching. When you're subscribed, you can get access to a coach. You can book a coach. So that's kind of how it's going to work. Is you can buy a certain curriculum that you want, or the whole class if you want.
Right.
And then you can subscribe, and you'll get access to a bunch of some different content. You also get access to coaching.
So access to coaching, access to more content, interactivity. Depending on levels. And as you see, I'm asking him what's going on, because this is his thing. We talk about it all the time. But just like David Park said, he said, "You're Mickey Mouse."
Yeah.
And so I'm Mickey Mouse. And he's in charge of the department that makes things happen. I wave my arms up and down and say, "Yay!" No, we don't do that.
Well, you do clap for when we're doing like for the camera stuff, but and when this launches, I will get you Mickey Mouse ears.
Oh, yeah, that's just what I need is a Mickey Mouse hat. So, anyways, they'll have some different levels of subscriptions.
Yep.
This podcast is going to be something that will probably stay free, or it'll be early access. These are all the things that we're kind of talking, because it's such an evolving word. This whole digital thing is such an evolving and constantly changing format. We've looked at other different schools and operations and different platforms, whether it's skateboarding or jumping off cliffs with a
mountain bike.
Propeller attached to your back. I don't know, whatever you do, or maybe it's like how to reprogram a computer. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff you can learn on the internets, and we want to stand out. We want to be, we want to carry the same level of quality that we've had. We want to keep it fun and interesting. And I think most of all, we are going to learn a ton about how all this works. And
This beta test is going to be, I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. When this gets going, we're going to learn a lot.
So we've literally been talking about this for over a year.
I've been planning it. Yeah. The business plan has been done for a year.
Okay.
It's just
wow.
been,
so it's been longer than that.
It's been longer than that. Like we've been talking about this, I think since last.
It was almost pre-COVID. We talked about doing some sort of an online thing, but COVID really kicked it into.
Yeah. If it wasn't for COVID, it might still just be an idea in the back of the heads.
Right.
But this, because I think it was, you first approached me about coming on for this project right when lockdown started last year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was like, when do you graduate?
Right. And then, once I graduated, I was actually able to put the time that this needs to really take off.
Yeah.
And I think once this thing takes off, when we work out all the kinks and everything, I think it's going to change how people learn how to ride a dirt bike across the world.
I hope so.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I really do. I'm super excited. I mean, I'm happy with the kind of stuff we've done already. We know it's a long road ahead, but like I said, we're gonna grow and learn, and it's given me the opportunity to do some additional stuff, and to I think that like with the crowdsourcing ability of this and learning more from more students and more demographics and things like that.
Right.
It'll just going to elevate the school. It's going to push it up kind of to the next level. So we're super stoked about that. I'm really glad you sat down and did this, and also
I'm glad to be here.
Keep kicking me in the butt to keep getting all the stuff that you need to make this happen.
I know you're going to get tired of me by the time this launches.
No, I'm not. No. Like I said, I enjoy the challenge. It's just sometimes the attention span for some of the
technical stuff. Yeah. But that's where I come in.
Yeah. All my brain cells are already occupied with, balancing motorcycles and, jumping and flying and figuring out where to, how to navigate to the next place and all this stuff like this. So with that, I'd like to thank a lot of our, longtime sponsors, Climb, Kenda Tires, Tour Tech, Wolfman Luggage. There's been a bunch of them. Tugger Straps, DDC Sprockets is Recluse. Yeah, they've been hooking us up for a while.
Fast Company.
Fast Company, Scott's Performance, CD Boots.
Is Kate's Real Food still on?
Every once in a while, I have some Kate's Real Food around here. Yeah, so lots of different. We have a lot of longtime partners in this, and
which I got excited when I saw Kate's Real Food in REI for the first time. I was like, "Wow!"
Yeah, they've grown.
Yeah,
and I think that's a little bit of it where they actually sent some sort of crazy formal product agreement sort of thing, and I'm like, I post on social media how many times a week doing what? Because I can barely update what my cat status is on Instagram. So it's like what a food bar is doing isn't that much. So anyways, with that, we are gonna sign off and say we'll see you out in the trail, and cheers.
Cheers.